Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. MC-Mura here. In today's video I'm gonna talk all about Balrog and how you can fight him in Street Fighter 5. He is a character that gives many people a lot of issues because he can be played very turtily while also having very strong comeback factor and very explosive offense. Balrog also is one of the characters whose playstyle will change drastically depending on the V skill and V trigger combination. So I'm gonna talk about the basic Balrog for now, and we'll talk about the different V skills and V triggers in the following sections. But first let's talk about the basic Balrog. The basic Balrog is of course a character whose main footsies tool is this dash punch. The dash punch is really good. Of course it have a light, medium and heavy variant. The light is the most commonly used one from this distance, and this can be spaced to be -4. Of course it is -4 by default. It can be spaced to be safe like that, or if it is poorly spaced it will be unsafe. So the key factor to beating Balrog is knowing how to deal with his dash punches. This is the main thing. And there are multiple ways to do this. First of all, as we said, it is a move that goes set distance. It is a charge attack, so you know when it's coming. And it moves him a set distance, but they are all unsafe. You have to space them to make them safe. This means that if I disrupt his spacing by either moving forward or backward, I will be able to deal with him. So for example, if I sit here from this distance, I am unable to punish it, right? If I move forward a little bit, I'm getting a punish. So just moving forward makes his dash punches unsafe, and that's why Balrog struggles versus characters who have fast walk speed, because they can change his spacing in an instant, and he have to kind of preemptively throw the dash punch out. So first of all, as we seen, walking forward is a good option. The second thing that you can do is to walk backward. When you walk backward, you can whiff punish it. So moving forward is a good option, walking backward is a good option. The third option, and that of course is a very popular one, is neutral jumping. Of course this attack is pretty annoying, and Balrog can anti-air your neutral jump. He absolutely can anti-air your neutral jump, but it is something that you have to keep in mind. You have to use it so that he will have to think about it and think about throwing dash punches. The final way of dealing with the dash punches is to actually challenge, and you challenge by poking and by having hitboxes on the screen. So for example, if Balrog is rushing in on me, I can use pokes, something like old Zeku's crouching medium punch. It's actually pretty decent at dealing with it. I'm throwing a hitbox on the screen, even so from a safe distance I will be able to stop him, something like my standing heavy kick. It's actually also pretty decent. You might get a crush counter on him if you time it right. But of course, using heavies carries a risk because you can get whiff punished, like we just seen. So something like Zeku's crouching medium punch is a lot better in my opinion as an alternative. Of course, it is even better if your character have a buffer. So if I am using someone like young Zeku, his crouching medium punch is even better because this can be buffered. Cody's crouching medium punch. Not many characters have crouching medium punches like that, so this is also another option. So we have a multiple ways that we can deal with the dash punches. Now, many people will make the mistake of trying to rush Balrog, trying to get in hard on him, and that's kind of problematic because Balrog is built like a wall, right? He have really good tools for checking dashes. His crouching medium is incredible. Something like this might happen. You might, if I did a normal that is too slow, I might even get hit. So this might happen to you, so that is a little bit problematic. He have very good anti-airs. His standing medium kick, or I think that standing medium punch is a really good anti-air. So jumping on Balrog is difficult. So you want to play the ground game, you want to stay at this distance so that you can manipulate his dash punches and be able to punish him. You will knock him down, he doesn't have a reversal, and that's how you play against Balrog. That's the main way that you can get into an advantageous situations versus him. Something you have to be very aware of is his dash into heavy punch. Basically, playing against Balrog is gonna be, is he gonna dash punch or is he gonna dash and then do his standing heavy kick? or maybe dash into command grab or dash into grab, whatever he's doing, right? So you're gonna have to learn how to react to his dash. Sadly, it's a really hard dash to react to, but you can absolutely do it with some practice, and you can just guess on it or just block and be safe. You can just block this and be safe, or you wanna try to react to checking his dash. It's a little bit difficult, but it can be done. The final option I wanna talk about is of course the jumps. And one of the things about Balrog is that he doesn't have a cross-up jump. So for example, if I'm standing in the front, this jumping heavy kick is actually a really good anti-air, but as you can see, or as a really good jumping I mean, but it doesn't hit cross-up, so he's a very easy character to walk under. So when Balrog is jumping at you from this distance, moving forward is honestly a really good idea, because then you can punish him on recovery, because he will not cross up. So in general, he's a little bit tricky of a character to fight against, but you wanna be able to challenge. You don't have to act scared of him, and you don't wanna rush him down too hard. Now let us talk about Balrog's V-Skill 1, because it's one of the best V-Skills in the game. It offers him a lot of utility in the neutral, a lot of mix-ups, and it's a very good V-Trigger activation. So let's talk first about the neutral. The main reason that Balrog players will want to use this V-Skill is to go through fireballs. So this is basically how it's gonna be used most of the time. He's gonna go through fireball and then he's gonna punish you. It's very good anti-fireball tools, but it does have some downsides. First of all, as you just seen, if you happen to block the punch variant like he just did, this is -4 on block, so you can get a punish. The range on it is actually really big, so even from a distance like that I will still block it, but it being -4 and Balrog moving forward a lot during it means that it is pretty easy to punish it from distances you wouldn't think it is possible. So for example, even from here, a little bit far, I can still get the punish. So it is punishable from a further range that you would normally expect. The second aspect of this is that you can actually bait it and whiff punish it. So for example, we can repeat the same sequence again. I will throw the fireball and get punished on a wave. This is absolutely doable. So proper spacing and block punishing it goes a long way in dealing with this V-Skill. Of course, the scariest aspect of this V-Skill is gonna be how it can be used in the mix-up game, right? Because it does have a really strong high-low game. Balrog can do something like this, EX dash punch on hit, then go low, or he might do an EX dash punch and then go for the overhead. Of course, he can also empty cancel and then throw you. So if you happen to get hit by the EX dash punch, this mix-up is very devastating, and no matter how much I can sugarcoat it, I don't think it is easy to react to at all. In fact, it's very hard. It's a very difficult mix-up, but there are a couple of things that I want to tell you that might make it a little bit easier. The first thing that you need to understand is that the overhead is the faster option. The overhead comes out before the low. The second thing is, if you notice this again and listen carefully, Balrog says get off me, right? And the thing here is that he says get off me before the attack even connects. So the overhead is faster and the voice line comes out really early. If he does the empty low, there is no voice line, right? So now we have a couple of tells. Again, it's really hard. It's very difficult. In the heat of the moment in matches, I'm not sure it is actually humanly blockable, but these are what I try to use or what I try to convince myself to do, and I hope for the best. So let's first try to block these. I'm gonna get hit by the EX dash punch and then hopefully react to the follow mix-up. Failed the first time. Succeeded the second time, succeeded the third time, and succeeded the fourth time. So again, it's not perfect, it's very hard to react to, but these are the best ways that I could possibly find for myself to deal with this mix-up on hit. So yeah, the situation on hit is really hard because We talked about the overhead, we talked about the low, but there is still the throw option. So if you're trying to react, the throw is still on the table. So it is a very hard situation. You cannot mash really here because you're gonna get hit, counter hit. You can't really backdash because if you try to backdash the punch, you're gonna get air reset. But if you're gonna try to backdash the overhead, you're gonna get hit grounded. So you're gonna eat a big combo. So it's a very hard situation. I'm not gonna lie, it's a very hard situation. On block, the situation is a lot easier though. If you happen to block this, first of all, if he does the empty low or the empty cancel and goes for the low, he's -2 in this situation. So you can always check him with your 3 frame or 4 frame, maybe then throw him after. So this is the first part. The second thing is if he does the overhead and then try to do the EX and try to go for the overhead, you can absolutely interrupt this every single time. So as soon as you see him spin, try to mash. He does the EX one and then spins. This is when you interrupt, right? This is of course on block. His third option is gonna be the straight or the V-skill into the punch, and this is a true block string. As you just seen, it's a true block string. Even if I try to mash, I can't get it out, but you can punish this on block as we just seen, so you will get a punish. So he either does the empty one, which is safe, he does the overhead, which can be interrupted, or he does the V-skill punch, which is negative on block and can be punished. This situation, I just mentioned it in extreme details because this is gonna be very important for V-trigger activation. Now notice the following. When Balrog has V-trigger activation, and let's say he does the following activation, right? This is a true block string, I can't get out, and Balrog will activate his V-trigger, right? This is pretty dangerous. But if you notice this, when he's doing the true block string, he is not in command grab range. But if he does the overhead, he is in command grab range. So this tells us that the overhead is a better activation, right? So we have to use the information we just talked about earlier, that the overhead can be interrupted. So for example now, yeah, this is a better activation, but I can challenge here. When he is doing the other one, the V-skill punch, it is the worst activation. I can challenge, but he doesn't get to throw me. So the activations that he really wants, the overhead ones that puts him in throw range, that give him the perfect, situation on block, is the ones that you can interrupt. V-Trigger 1 from Balrog is a very good V-Trigger. It's pretty complicated, but I will try to cover the major points briefly and talk about the major pitfalls that people fall into, right? The biggest one, and it's kinda obvious to be honest, is trying to walk back. When Balrog has V-Trigger 1 on, EX dash low becomes very dangerous and it can lead to a lot of damage. This of course is also safe on block. So if you happen to block it, he is -2 only, so it is completely safe. So while Balrog have V-Trigger 1 on, don't walk back a lot. It's a very risky choice that you are making here. The second thing that I wanted to talk about is choosing how and when to challenge. Let's set up this scenario. Balrog is gonna try to do 2 dash punches and then he's gonna do a crouching medium. This is pretty interesting because if I try to challenge with my standing medium, I'm gonna get whiff punished and he's gonna hit me. So I might then try to challenge with my standing heavy. Let's try the same sequence again. My standing heavy got counter hit, and this is a really big thing. Let's say I will try to use my jab this time. Again, I got whiff punished. Basically, more often than not, the Balrog is auto-spacing himself. He's putting himself in a position where he will whiff punish you if you try to take back your turn. My advice, do not try to take back your turn at this point. Just block it out and his V-trigger will run out, right? Challenging here is very risky. However, you wanna challenge when he is cancelling into the V-skill. So again, like we said earlier, Balrog can do something like this. As soon as you see him spin, challenge. and you will get a punish. Even on hit, this isn't very good. I will show you that even if I got hit by the dash punches, I will mash my 3 frame and I will hit him out of it. So let's check this out again. Now I am mashing my 3 frame and I hit him as a counter hit. Balrog is losing 1 frame of advantage with every dash punch. So here he was -1. If he committed to a third dash punch, he would be -2. He was then -3. Each dash punch he does, he loses 1 frame of advantage. This is both on hit and on block. Of course, it goes without saying, as soon as you see him spin, try to challenge. So let's check this out again. And then you get good conversions on him. So while it is a very good V-trigger, patience and knowing when to challenge will go a long way in surviving when Balrog have V-trigger 1 on. And that, ladies and gentlemen, brings us to the end of this video, and we have a first here, because Balrog is gonna be the first character to actually get a multi-parts matchup video. Now, I feel like there is a lot to talk about in regards to Balrog. I have yet to talk about his V-Trigger 2, his V-Skill 2, his critical art, how you can deal with the EX dash punch in the neutral, his throw game, his pressure game, his own defensive options, how you can play around his anti-air games. There's still so much in regards to this character, and he is one of these characters that you have to know a lot about him to be able to deal with him effectively. And I didn't want to end up making a 14 minutes or 15 minutes matchup video on Balrog, so I think it was in the best interest to split this video into multiple sections. So please expect the follow-up video next week. And I'm sorry for that, but I want to give you the information as precisely as possible. I don't want to hold any information back, but also I don't want to keep you watching for 40 or 15 minutes. If you have enjoyed this video, please leave a like or a comment. It helps the channel so much. Please subscribe if you haven't. Thank you very much for watching and stay safe.